I think this is the last time I can say good morning for today, but good morning and welcome to the 2026 AAAS annual meeting SciMike stage. It's supported by the George Washington University. This is being presented here in person in Phoenix, as well as streaming online at AAAS's annual meeting YouTube page. I am your host, Jessica Hubbard, and I am here with Bob Blum, the director at the Vera C. Observatory. Welcome to the SciMike stage.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here with you.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'm an astronomer by training, but now I'm the director of this brand new exciting observatory that's just being completed in Chile. I've worked for the National Observatory's nighttime astronomy for about 30 years. Our headquarters are based down in Tucson, so I just drove up this morning. But we run facilities in Hawaii and Arizona and in Chile, and so it's been a great run working at many fascinating places and getting the chance to observe the night sky for a career.
And you'll be giving the plenary talk later today, correct? Can you give us a preview of what will be discussed there?
Sure. So Rubin is a brand new observatory. It will revolutionize the way we study the night sky, the way we study the history of the evolution of the universe, the way we study our own solar system, our own galaxy, the Milky Way. And so I'm going to go through a little bit of fun, how we got to this point. We're about ready to start regular science operations. I'll talk about the fact that the project has been in progress for 20 years, and now we're at the point of really going on sky and getting to the exciting science that everyone wants to do. So I'll show a little bit about how everything has come together in the last few years, the excitement of it, going on sky for the first time less than a year ago, and then kind of a primer on the science that we hope to enable over the next 10 years as we do this survey.
You mentioned the word excite or excitement a few times. What excites you about doing the work that you do?
I think it goes back to a deep sense of wonder and curiosity about the universe, right? And so to be able to be paid to do a job where you get to go up to high mountains, work all night with the greatest telescopes in the world and really observe in a quantitative way aspects of the universe and why things are the way they are, it's unbelievable. It's kind of, it's just every day is something that new can happen, that you can learn about, and it's just getting more and more as we get more instruments on the sky, and it's also one of the earlier speakers mentioned something about being able to travel, and I mean, if you're a curious person and you want to meet other people, there's no better career than astronomy. Astronomers go to great places to do their work, and then they go to great places to talk with other astronomers about what's happening, meet other people from different perspectives, different backgrounds, diverse opinions, all over the world, and it's an amazing career.
So if I can take a step back and ask about your career specifically, when did you first realize that you wanted to pursue astronomy?
Mine was a somewhat non-traditional path, but maybe not absolutely unique. I actually trained as an aeronautics and astronautics engineer and started working for the Boeing company back in the late 80s. And that was great. Boeing was a great company, and we were doing lots of interesting things. But at some point I decided I really wanted to get back into research and thinking about bigger things and having an opportunity to explore my curiosity about space and astronomy. And so I set my career as an engineer aside and went back to school. Very fortunately, I had a family and a wife in particular who said go for it, and was very supportive. She worked to put me through graduate school, and we've been working together, and we lived in Chile for 10 years. She came with me on that, so a lot of support from family and my wife that enabled me to do these things.
You mentioned a support network. as we, go through maybe our educational journey or journeys in our careers in general, I feel like mentorship can play an important role. How does mentorship play in maybe your line of work or field, or just for you personally?
I think it's absolutely critical for anyone trying to make their way that they get connected with people who want to spend the time to help them navigate the career path that they're on, help them make connections, help them choose the right problems or encourage them in the right directions so that they'll be productive. I feel like in my career I've been super fortunate, maybe more lucky than even good, right? Because you have to be good enough to kind of get your foot in the door, but then it's all about the people that can help and support you. I had a PhD advisor, Kristen Selgren at Ohio State University, who just absolutely helped me understand what was important in the field, how to be a good scientist, how to be a careful scientist, how to work with others, how to pick the right problems, and I've had people like that it's been my great fortune to have people like that all along the way. Even when I worked at Boeing, there were people that were helping me make the next choice or the next decision. So it's absolutely key, and one of the things that I like to focus on is trying to help the next generation or the generations. I've been doing this for a while. I was just on a Zoom call this week with a group of students in Chile who are visiting our observatories there. It's called the Research Education for Undergraduates, Research Experience for Undergraduates program funded by the National Science Foundation. Every year we bring about 6 students down, and they get an observing experience and tie in with some astronomers and do a research project for their summer. So I was just delighted to call in with them this week and chat with them about what their ambitions were, what they were up to, and they were asking me the same questions. How did you become a director? What is that like? How did you get into astronomy? And it's just that virtuous cycle of payback is just something that I think I get a lot out of. So I'm happy to do it.
One of those questions was something similar to what I was about to ask you next, which was we do have a lot of students who are attending the conference. They may be listening now, or they'll be at the plenary later. What would you say to those students who hear about your work and say, "Wow, I want to do something similar"? Like, what advice would you have for them?
My first advice would be true to your dreams. If you really want to do something, go for it. Nothing is going to be easy. There's no guarantees. When I decided to leave Boeing and try and become an astronomer, I thought, well, at least I'll get a PhD. I'll learn a lot of things. I'll get some new skills. If I can't get a job at a university or an observatory, okay, I still want to try this. So don't sell yourself short. It can be daunting, but go for it. And I also, this sounds a little flippant, and I don't mean it to be at all. I don't know any out-of-work astronomers, right? People get into these physics and astronomy degrees, these PhD programs, they get their degree. They don't all get to be a professor, and they don't all get to work at an observatory, but they all find good work. They all find things to do where they can use their skills that they've learned as critical thinkers, lots of computer skills. And so
Skills
I just don't know
transferable.
people that don't succeed one way or another who go down this path.
Very transferable skills, right?
Absolutely.
And speaking of skills, taking another step back to look at the career as a whole, what skill has been important to your success that people might not expect?
Your last speaker mentioned something about soft skills, right? So I'm a director now, and I've been in the management of the observatories for more than 10 years. And so no one in grad school teaches you how to be a manager. No one teaches you kind of the business side of running a big organization. So being open to learning and adopting best practices, principles, listening to those that have gone before, to really make sure you pick those skills up as you're developing. All of our observatory leaders start from a science background. And that's super important, because if you're going to run a scientific enterprise, you want to know from the first principles how it works and what's important. But then if you decide to go on a path that's more in management or administration or leadership of an institution like an observatory, you really have to take on board that there's There's really other things than just science that are important, and you have to pay attention to that.
I call this the last phase of the interview, where I ask, we work a lot in science, it's a big part of our lives, but that's not all we are, all we do, right? So is there anything that you're reading right now, or any hobbies that bring you joy outside of what you do?
Yes to both. So I actually, I do like to read, and I generally read a lot of fiction, but also other things about culture and world history. And being from Southern Arizona, there's a tremendous cultural connection between the rest of America and where we are in North America. And I read a really fantastic memoir recently by a woman named Dora Rodriguez, who was actually an undocumented person who came to the U.S. in the 1980s, and through tragedy, literally tragedy in this coming to America, she was able to get asylum and eventually citizenship, and then has developed a 40-year career in Southern Arizona, Tucson, Nogales, around there, helping others who are fleeing circumstances that bring them to our border. It's a really important story about having the courage to help other people when they're kind of at their most vulnerable. So that was a great book. And I love mountain climbing. I go outside. I ski all the time. If you love outdoors, Arizona is a great place to be. So I'm reading a book, a biography about Yvon Chouinard, who was the founder of Patagonia, the outdoor company. And it's called Dirtbag Billionaire. And dirtbag is a phrase that really hardcore climbers use to describe themselves. They would literally just, live hand to mouth in the dirt, being able to go out and climb and do what they want. It wasn't about making money or anything like that. So it's really kind of a term of endearment. He liked the dirtbag in the title, apparently, but he didn't like the billionaire title. So he's really tried hard to build a sustainable company that can both be commercial and attentive to sustainability in the environment. It's by a guy named David Gellis. It just came out. It's a great book.
Are there any final thoughts that you would like to share with listeners here in Phoenix or anyone who's tuning in online?
I just want to share that I was here listening to the last few interviews, and it's amazing how connected everything is. So I came in when a woman was talking about First Peoples and the connection to understanding the universe through another point of view in another way. Our observatories are all in areas with indigenous communities, and we have learned that we need to listen to them and understand their point of view in order to be effective in doing what we do. So in Hawaii and Arizona and in Chile, that's a major part of how we engage with the community. Environmental sustainability was one of the topics. We're trying to develop a photovoltaic system that will cover our energy needs for these telescopes. Astronomy is kind of small, but per capita it's pretty expensive energy-wise. We use a lot of energy to run our facilities, and more our data centers. And so in Chile, we're in the midst of installing a system to cover our energy needs there for the telescopes with renewables. And this last talk was about ATLAS and CERN and high energy physics. And actually our observatories now have done 3 in the last about 10 or 15 years, 3 experiments with national physics labs in the US, the Department of Energy. The biggest camera at the time, we put on a telescope in Chile. We have the biggest spectrograph that can take 5,000 spectra in one go in Kitt Peak. It's called DESI. These are all dark energy experiments. That's why we're connected to the high energy physicists. So I know a lot of the same colleagues that the previous speaker was talking about. And then finally, Rubin, of course, is a joint venture with the Department of Energy. And the Department of Energy's interest is dark energy. And so astronomy is moving in not just from discovery, but also experimentation.
Thank you so much for your time
You're very
and joining
welcome.
me on the SciMike stage today. Thanks again.
Thank you.